met you halo down. You gave me fever. No need to tell me all. Your eyes I always remember. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. Take care of you. I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you.
Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me well now, and happy weekend to everybody. This is a really exciting live stream for me because for the first time, we're actually going to be able to make the daily quest really easy. And I think that's something that hasn't been the case ever since we started the daily quest inside the gamification project. If you guys don't know what it is, basically we try to make our daily habits and daily routines into something that we get to do instead of something that we have to do. We don't want to think of chores as, these big, scary, tedious things that we don't want to do, but rather these exciting things that we get to do every single day. And every single new day is an opportunity for us to do it again and again. So what we're going to be talking about today, and especially with everybody in the chat, I see a lot of activity there already. I asked everybody to tell me what they loved about the daily quest and what they didn't love. And the important thing about that is because we're a collaborative project. We want to make sure that what we're building is usable and friendly to everybody. And for the most part, I think it works very well if you stick to the standard habits that are given, but we're all unique people and we all have different needs. So I really want to make it clear that customization is one of the core facets of this project, and we want to make sure that we're making it as easy as possible for you to customize within this framework that we use called Notion. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. Let's talk about the why, what's, and how's behind this build, and then get all your inputs in and make sure we're solving all your problems here today on this live stream. And by the way, if you have any questions about Daily Quest, feel free to chime in as well. I'm happy to answer them today. So let's jump right in. So yeah, as you guys can see, usually when we start building a system, we want to think about, why do we want to make these changes? Why are we building this? What do we want to accomplish? And then how are we going to get there? The why is usually the problem. We want to scope out what the real problem is. And really, three problems is it's not easy to add new daily quests for a Notion newcomer, right? We have some comments. I think I just saw one from, Nick. It's super hard to change the parameters. You have to have a good understanding of formulas. So therefore, adding new daily quests seems like it's a tough endeavor for many of the Notioneers out there. The next thing is when you change a daily, all the stats will reset. And that's been something that's been very, very frustrating for even myself, where if I have gotten a daily quest to my goal, let's say I wanted to be able to meditate for 30 days in a row, and that's something I have down, and I want to swap out that habit, or maybe I have a habit that doesn't make sense anymore, right? It doesn't give me as much benefits, and I want to swap it out. Well, all the stats will reset because each single property is tagged to that specific habits, and that's not good, right? That's something that shouldn't happen. And then the third thing is the third problem I'll be trying to tackle today is I've heard that having to repopulate the database with new dates is a maintenance task that most people would like to avoid, and I am happy to say that we'll have a solution for that as well. So let's talk about what we're going to build. And of course, we want to also now here engage with our community, engage with everyone here watching, really making sure that these solutions are in line with what you expect. So the first thing is something I thought about and heavily, heavily inspired by Josh Wynn, who's in the chat now. Here, huge cheers to him. He's been one of the core innovators behind our habits, is a new way to handle daily quests that retains the stats. And really the idea is, and maybe I'll jump into the how a little bit, but it's to use relations to a habit table so we can swap in and out different habits. And we can build stats into that table, which is really cool. Like, how many times have you completed that habit? The goal, how many you want to complete. And I think there's just a lot of additional, benefits that come with being able to have that kind of granularity, swapping out habits. And we've built a similar implementation in the Airtable build, if you were there for that last week. And it's been hitting off really well for the Airtable folks. So I thought it might be good to bring that implementation to Notion as well. So let's also tackle some of the other people's questions as well. I'm just looking in through. So Nick wants a single select from 7 sub areas, health, work, and in those selects to have that you have difficulties with, to choose what you want to be done in that day. That's really cool. I think that's something that we can add here that says, hey, on top of stats in that table, but also which area that does it belong to, right? Areas that it belongs to. I think that's really, really cool. And then also penalties for not doing the basic 1 difficulty task. I think that's something that's interesting, and I'll probably ask you some more questions about that too. All right, cool. So let's get into the build. Let's enough talking about and planning. Let's actually take action. So if you guys are seeing my screen, this is something that is very familiar to you. We have our daily quests, and as we check off things throughout the day, our day will progressively increase in progression. So let me use one of the views to, in order to open it up. So let's say I use a view. Let's use the breakdown per day. Oh, not breakdown. I want the complete view. So I'm just going to generate this view just to show you how I would normally use it pre doing this. So I would have sections here, right? I would have morning routines where I can just check things off, and you can see my morning progress goes up. Yay. But as you can tell, the issue comes when I want to swap these. And because Notion, the way Notion works is that when you have a property, and let me just swap back to this view, when you have a property, you can't really make changes to it per row. And I guess the easy way to explain that is whatever you do to a property will affect every single entry in this database. So that means that whenever you make a change, let's say I change this from, one of my reflection categories from 3 words to 5 words, then every single entry in my daily quest will now expect 5 words instead of 3. So it's really important to be careful when changing these, especially if you don't want to mess with your historic data. So the way to change this historic data is the solution that we're going to be talking about today. And maybe you already have a glimpse of that in the thumbnail. But basically what we want to do now is we want to expand all the properties so we can see everything, right? So we know how everything is looking like. And what we want to do now is we want to make a new property that relates to an existing table or an outside table called habits. So I'm just going to duplicate this property because I just want to have one right here. And let's call this one morning routines. Let's assume that we want to still keep 5 different sections of our day. So in this case, we have morning routines. So let's do that. We're going to change this formula over to a relation. And for this to work, we're going to have that relational database ready. So let's go into our daily quest. Let's go into here at the bottom of this database. Again, we're just in the schema, so we like to keep things organized. We're going to make a page. We're going to call this our habits. And maybe we can just make this a normal table for now. Delete the tags. We'll catch in on that later. And then delete all those things. And now we have a brand new empty table. Let's select the database. Let's call it habits. And in habits, we should have, why is there 2? Let's make sure this is habits test. And why I append test to it is so I can see that this is the right one, right? So I click next. So now I have this that leads me to my habits. I'm now going to say that this property, which is going to be the relation, is going to be called completed on. And then what happens here is that if I make a new routine here, and I'm just going to make a new, let's actually make ones from here. So let's make 3. Let's say I'm going to copy the other ones. Make my bed, drink water, and meditate. Okay, let's say these are my initial ones. And then what I want to do is just, add some icons maybe. So I'm going to make my bed. It's like this. And you guys can follow along too. This is a really easy implementation. So I hope you guys can follow along. And make sure that you guys are also understanding what I'm trying to communicate. Of course, this will be included in the next big build, but of course, if you guys would like to have it now, that's something that I'm happy to share. So I'm trying to find like a teardrop or like a glass of water or something. Is there anything like that? I'll just use this for now. And then meditate, maybe we'll just use the praying symbol. So like this. Okay, so what we want to do is maybe we want to also add some tags here. So we can add a multi-select tag and we can say routine, or maybe we can call it group. And then maybe these are going to be morning routines. So we have morning all the way down. So let's see how that looks now. So if we go here, we can go to morning routines and then we can click on one just like so. So let's say I click on meditate and make my bed. So you can see already we are able to select our morning routines. And there's going to be a problem with this. You're going to have a bit less flexibility. I will tell you what that problem is, but for now, just stay tuned. And I think this solution is quite interesting to explore. So the first thing is we're realizing that no matter how many we're adding, our morning progress isn't moving. So let's see how we can make that happen, right? And at this point, we're going to be undoing some of the code that we have existing in the project. Again, if you're watching this and you're going to be using the new template, you don't have to worry about this, but I just do want to show you what we had before and how we're changing things. So previously, how we had it was we had this thing called morning multiplier that just calculated everything that was inside, that just calculated everything that we deemed as a morning routine and morning habit, and then added them all together. And we basically just made them binary. If I completed it, I checked it off, then it was a 1. If I didn't complete it, it was 0. So what we're going to do now instead is we're going to convert this into a count. I want to count how many I've done, right? So it's really easy. All I have to do is just change the morning multiplier from a formula, and I'm going to change this into a rollup. I change this to a rollup, and I just change it, and I set it to my morning routines. I'm going to say name, and I'm going to count all. So you can see right now, morning multiplier is counting 2. If I change this and I say I am now doing 3 morning routines instead of 2, I'm now doing 3. And then as you saw, actually, this is going up, but that's because it's out of 10. So what we can do here now, we see that it works, we can also set how many morning habits we actually want to accomplish. And for a general rule of thumb, I would say you want to do maybe 3 to 4 routines per section. You don't want to do too many. Even just 1 or 2 maybe is good enough as a starting point. Don't do too many. But that's really something that we can start with. So let's say we start our midday multiplier. Sorry, not that's the wrong thing I want to do. But we wanted to change our number of morning habits, which is going to be, let's say, 5. So what we can do here then is, now that we have 3 out of 5, we're at 60%. So it's really, really flexible already. You can see that I can just keep adding things in, and I can basically have that keep counting up. Now, the first question you're going to ask me is, Conrad, when I had my previous habits, I was able to define things like text fields. I was able to give definition to my habits. I was able to add more information to it. Here, will I be able to do that? And I have to say that that level of detail will not be possible with Notion. Notion right now, as I can see it, for habit building at least, is you can do very well in having a static form of habits. So these are my static habits. These properties shouldn't change. Or I'm doing something like this. I'm relating it to another table, but then I'm not able to add any more definition to each of those items other than just having a binary yes or no. So what happens though is that, so Benjamin is saying something really interesting. He's saying that you could set a value in each habit and pull that over. But Ben, I'm curious how you would handle that, because when you pull it over, we'll still have that problem where well, okay. Yes, we can still do that, but then we come with the problem that we're still making a new property for that specific habit. And when that habit changes, we'll have a problem. So I think what Ben's trying to say, which is actually a very valid point and something we've done already in other templates within the system, is we can add a new column, a new property here that says, hey, how many times meditate? And we add 2. And what we can do in the habits table is do a roll up and pull for that information. That's definitely something we can do. But then the issue with that is I'm not certain if it was on August 7th that I drank 2 glasses of water, or on August 1st I drank 2 glasses of water. So that's also a little bit of an issue that I'm not able to resolve, at least for now. But I'm really curious. You guys keep talking about that, because I think there is some more to discover there. And of course, I will also share how I'm getting around that, but with a more novel approach, I think. But anyways, at this point, I'd like to show you how you can get stats into the game. And the stats is going to be pretty interesting. So I'm going to add something called let's do a roll up here. And then what we want to do is we want to search completed on, and we want to, again, count all. And we can say how many are times completed, right? And this is how many times we've completed it so far. We can also do cool things like if it's completed today. So let me show you how that might work. So we can do a roll up again. We can roll up on the completed on. We can roll up on the date property instead. So it's the wake up time in this case. And then we can show the latest date. So what we can do here, just to show you, so last completed on. What I want to show you is I can even make a formula here, right, that checks if today's date matches the day that we completed, so we know that if it's completed, if we have done it today already or not. So let me show you how that formula might be built. So we can do a now, right? And then we can say, so now it's going to show you the full time as well. I don't want that. I only want the date. So we need to do date format. So format date, and I want to show it in just the date. So let's see, I want to do probably something like this. So I'm just gonna copy this code since it's already there. And I'm going to remove the, time after that because I don't want the time. So format dates, and I'm going to take away the time. So let's take away that. So we can see it's August 7th, right? And maybe we can even just take MMM. So we have August 7th, keep it short and simple. And then we can also format dates. So let's say if this date is, let's do it this way. So if the last completed on, so we have prop, last completed on is over the date of this. So let's see if that makes sense. We want to basically say, if it's over that, we say done today. Otherwise, we show not done yet. Okay, and then I think the format date is an issue. So I think what we can do here, because it makes it, let's see. I think there's another date field that helps us just get the today's dates without the time. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, it makes it a string, so I don't like that. I think what we can do here then is just don't do the format and let's just see how this plays out. I don't think this will work as well as I want it to. It has to be the other way around, I think. So let's do it. If the last completed on day is over now, this still needs to be the day without the timestamp, because otherwise it will show for every day. Let's try it out. Let's try the other way around. I don't think this will be the answer, but let's try it the other way around. If now is over that, so we have done today, but let's say we had another habit. Let's call this one, let's see another example. Let's call it exercise. And exercise, what we did here is we can do muscles. And let's say exercise was done yesterday, so not today. So exercise was done yesterday. I believe it will still show done today. So that's something we need to fix. Okay, this is a day ago. So that's something that we want to also just tweak that. Let me think about how that's done. Done today. And that's something that we can check. Let's see. So I'm just going to play around with this property for a second. We can have an X, so we're not done yet. I need to return the date property. I guess what we can do is we can check. I wonder if you guys know. Do you guys know which formula would be the right for this? Because I do know that there is a it should keep as a date field, but it shouldn't. Let's see. Let me just search this. Return today's date without time notion formula. I'm sure there's an answer here. Interesting. So that actually does work apparently, because it's a number format. I like that a lot. This is a good solution. So if you guys are not following what the solution does, let me just make sure it works and then I'll explain it to you guys in full detail. This is a really cool solution though. I need to also do the prop here. So prop here, format date. This is not now, but I need the last completed on. And then it's not over, it's equals. There you go. That's a really cool solution, actually. I like it a lot. So basically what we did was we turned the dates into a year, month, day, which means that it'll compare them with compare them directly, which makes it really easy because all we need to do is compare the dates with the dates, and that works. You don't need to have like a larger than or a smaller than, and that's perfectly there. Yeah. Benjamin also gave us very similar answer. Perfect. Yeah. Format the date, check equality. There we go. So that was the solution. And so I see Benjamin is also adding that we can also set a value. Would habits be for other ranges of time? Can you expand on what you mean by that. I'm really curious what you mean by habits being on the other range of time. And by the way, if you guys are curious, like when you move this up, I just want to show you. So let me move these things up. What happens when you sort the properties in here is that the properties will also be resorted in here as well. So you can see the group is morning and done today is like so, and we have group is morning and done today is like this. So this makes it really easy for us to kind of see exactly which habit we want to check off. And if it's already done today, then we don't have to do it, right? So that's super, super easy. Now, the one thing I don't like about Notion in this regard versus other tools is that Airtable, I think you can actually sort this, which makes it really cool, and also filter. So if it's already done today, then don't show it anymore. So these are small inconveniences that I think Notion still has to work on, but they have a long runway to go, and I'm pretty excited for that to come. Okay, so Ben's actually asking about making habits into also weekly habits and things that are less on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's exactly what I want to accomplish as well here. So let's do this in two parts. The first thing I want to do is to make sure that we have all our use cases fulfilled. So let's first make sure that we can also add something called a goal, because I want to show the goal. I think that's something very important that people have been asking about and we haven't had until now. So let's talk about goal. So the goal, we can always set a goal for ourselves. So let's say our goal for this is to do it 30 days, maybe drink water is just 14 days, meditate, maybe it's particularly hard, we want to do 7 days, and exercise, we want to do 7 days. So what we can do is we can add a new formula, and this formula can be super easy. We're just comparing the goal with the times completed. So we just want to say, I guess we could just be very simple. We have, let's say, if the property for goal is larger or equal to times, the other way around, if the times completed is larger or equal to the goal, then I want to show you've hit the goal. Otherwise, you have, and then we can add a property. So we can have prop goal minus times completed plus to go. And this will not work because I need to turn this number into a string. So let's do that. So I'm going to say format. Prop goal is not a number. I can solve that. So wait, that's totally wrong. Goal is not a number. Oh, here, I see. Prop goal. There we go. That's the issue. Okay, you have 29 to go. So this is just a simple way to show you how you would essentially track how many times you have to go to make this work. And basically, it helps you keep track of the goals you have for your specific habits. So for example, again, like I said, like I did before, I can just put this right here. I can say, I can make this, just give me a fire emoji so I know that I'm on a streak, but I still have to go. And then this is probably a check mark. And again, you guys can customize this however you want. And basically what we can do here in this page is when we start adding new things, we can see that how many more we have to go. So this again makes it really intuitive and really easy for us to keep adding more and more habits and just cycle them out whenever we're done a specific habit. So that's really cool. So let's do the other answer that Benjamin wanted, which is doing something like, these are my quarterly activities, these are my weekly activities, these are my daily activities. And I think this overlaps a bit with the review cycles and what we've done for recurring tasks. But I do want to show this because I do think there's some interesting implications of this that we can use. So what we can do here is, let's say we do something that's a bit less every single day, which is watering plants, okay? Water plants is definitely something you don't want to do every single day because then you will drown your poor plants. Don't do that. So what you want to do for plants, perhaps, and let's just make a flower. Let's do a nice little sunflower. So what we can do here, in the group section, what we can do is also repurpose this to not only give you a group of morning, of midday, of evening. Let me just add all those just to make sure I have them. But I can also perhaps add something that's like, a daily or a weekly or a monthly or, every 2 days, right? So what we can do is we can say, actually, just to be fair, I think we should make a new property just so that we don't have any confusion later on, and I'll explain why this is important. So we can say period, right? And we can say daily. We can do every 2 days, and we can do every week. Or actually, let's just do this every 7 days. Every 1 day, every 7 days, every 30 days, and then every quarter. So then 30 times 3 every 90 days. And I'm just showing you this implementation because I think it's going to be cool. You can also name them however you want, a daily, weekly, quarterly, just like how we do it in the areas. But I found a cool formula that actually can take away the number from inside here. So therefore, if I take away the number, I can easily do some math to say when I should do it next. So let me show you how that might work. So let's say we have our differences. So let's make this a formula property. We can basically show the to number, and to number we can say period. I believe that works. Let me just see. Nope, that does not work. Let me think about how that works again. I have to revisit one of my other formulas, I think, and then we'll be able to find it. I have another formula that basically, yes, the stress level, and then we were able to translate that into a number. Oh, I think what we did was we sliced it. We just sliced it. Let me just double check and make sure that's what we did. So stress level, we just sliced the first, yeah, here. Stress level. Oh no, we just turned it to number. Ah, okay. So we just have to make sure the number's in the beginning, and then that'll work. Let's try that. So 1 every day, and then 2 every other day. Okay, let me just make sure that works before yeah, perfect. It does work like that. Yeah, so this is a cool implementation, I think. If you just have that number in front, you can just translate that into anything into the number. So every week, and this one we can do 30 every month. So every month. And then what we can do here is we can do 90, which is every quarter. Every quarter. And what we can do here, Ben's saying that number is not clean for dates. You should use exact date values. So I'm curious why you're thinking of that, because, oh, so you're saying in the formula we could do something like, in the formula we can properly define what's a week, month, and quarter is. That's what you're saying, right? It's interesting though, like for month, I would normally also add 30. So do you have a formula that does that? Like we can do a switch, that's not a problem, but how would you write that formula for every month that wouldn't be just plus 30? I'm really curious how you would do that. That's a really cool implementation. I haven't thought about that before. So awesome. Yeah, you might miss leap year or not. Well, how I was planning to do it, you can feel free to give me your solution too. I think that's something that I'm very interested to hear. But the way I was thinking about it was just to take the dates of the last completed and add 2 to it, right? Or add this number. Yeah. So yeah, please show me your solution. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So I was thinking that basically last completed, right? And then we just do a date add. that number. So dates add, I believe, date, amount, and then we add days. I believe we still need to add one more thing there. Dates add to number. This closes that. And then I need a comma days. There we go. So if I watered the plants 2 days ago, then let's say, so I watered the plants 2 days ago, what will this show? Oh, wait, this is, I don't have a goal yet. So I need a goal here. Okay, so let's do a goal. Let's make it 5. You have 4 to go. But what I want to see here is the dates add. So I should have last completed on 2 days ago plus 2. So why is this not working? Dates add dates plus amount orders. So this should be, if I make this into 2, what happens? It shows, so it still shows empty. That's super interesting. Oh, that's super interesting. Yeah. Ben, I like that solution a lot. So you basically have like a very specific thing for annually. So would you do the same thing? Is there any specific I guess let me see the whole thing. I didn't need to show the whole thing. Okay, so it's 1 7 divide, okay, the whole year divided by 26, whole year divided by 12. That's super cool. I like that solution. Okay, that really helps. Thank you, Ben. I like that. Yeah, so that's another implementation we can do. Let me show you the end result first, and then we can fine tune the property that shows that. But basically what we can do is we can add this date. For whatever reason, it's not adding. And I'm thinking it's because I don't have the proper caps there. Yeah. That's so interesting. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. But yes, I will change this formula from to number to the specific formula that was suggested. Thank you so much for that input. So let's just finish this here. We can say period. But basically we can show like when should we do this next. And what we can do is now compare this date to today's date. So if today's date is the right date, so now we're going to do the comparison. So I want to basically again do this comparison. So we're going to format the date now, which should equal the format the dates of the output. So let's go here. So it should equal the format of the date of the output. We should have some yes. I'm just putting yes and no for now because I want to make sure everything works. Okay, so format dates, open bracket here. Now here, and then we have format date, we open bracket here, we close bracket here, the dates add. Okay, we're missing an argument here. We're missing an argument, which is dates add YYY, month, day, close that. And I believe we're still missing a bracket here. Let's see what we're missing here now. Let's see, format dates, we open bracket here. I wish I had a code editor right about now, but it's fine, we'll see it. Closes here. We have this closes. Dates add starts here. So this is a 2 number, so this ends. Dates add starts here. ends here. There we go. Done. Okay, so let me drink some water, guys. By the way, remember to hydrate. Awesome. So we have here, basically what we want to say is do it today. Otherwise, we show something like you don't need to do this yet. But what's something that is really cool that we can do, and you'll notice that I didn't even bother to name this property because I wanted to show you guys something that we can do to even make this done today even better. So for example, we don't want to just show not done yet when we don't have to do the task, right? So what we can do is we can combine these two properties, these two formulas into one master formula that not only shows you if you should do the thing, but also then if it's done today. So that's something that we can do. Let's just throw that in. I may just take your advice there and make it a code block, but I think we can do this. Actually, no, let's just make this a code block. I think that's a much smarter idea. So let's do a code block here. I'm going to take this. Basically, what I want to do is just replace this, this section. So let's take this as well. So just to teach you a bit about formulas, at least the way I do it, is that right now we have this formula that is handling if we should do it based on the period that we had defined. So if we should do it, okay, then in this, we want to check if we have done it already today. So you see, so all we have to do here is just take this code, right, just to show you, and put it into here, and then we already are done. We can just take this whole code back and we can just paste it in and it should work. Let's see why it doesn't work. It's because we didn't put brackets around it. So let's do that one more time, but with brackets. So this is with a closed bracket, and this is with a open bracket. Actually, I don't think that matters, but let's see why this doesn't work. Oh no, it does matter. Perfect. Okay, so basically now we have this whole section that says we don't not do yet. Maybe is something that we can use, and we can just again use X, but a less strong X. This can just be like that. And what we can do here is now we want to make sure that everything has a period. So everything can be every single day. And now we can see that we have things that we've done, things that we haven't done yet that we should do. But it seems like our true part of the conditional has a small error. Let me just see. Because I want to show this as done already because we handed in today. So let's see what's going on here. So I think the formula basically is just nagging at us that we are going into this condition because it hasn't been a day yet. I see. That's super interesting. Okay, that's a small tweak that we can do. And you would also recommend adding a do next field. I think that's interesting. So it gives you some planning, right? I was thinking of just doing it like this, like having this as like not due yet versus like it's due, you should do it. Like if it's not done yet, that means you should do it, right? So it's complaining that I should do it on today's date. So what we can do is here we can add a exercise. So that's something that we are doing. But then I think my problem with this one is just that I guess we can hide that field as well. We don't need that. So complete on, we can hide that. But I guess my problem with this is I want to still show that it is done today. So I'm curious if I should have done it the other way around. Yeah, I think I should have. So basically, and this is what's cool about coding, I think. What we can do, so we had these two, right? And my previous comments was basically I wanted to first check if I should do it and then show that is it completed yet. But because the well, even if I reversed it, no, it would still do the same thing. Let me just think. Let me think about that. So Ben has all his habits populated on his master calendar, so it shows up on your central dashboard. So that's why you want a date. I like that. Let's try it. I like that. That's a good idea. So for the date, all I need to do is just take the code I already had. So I just need this last completed on, subtract the 2 days, I think. Yeah, I just need this. I don't need the format dates, I just need this. So this will give me that. So do on, and then we can make this into a formula. Very cool. You have awesome suggestions, man. I love it. So we want to date add that. So basically this is when it's next due. And what we can do now is we can make sure that we have it have a calendar view. And in this calendar view, what we can do is we can do it by due on, and you can see when your next habit is due. So I think that's actually a really, really cool implementation. Wow, I like it a lot. We can also show how many to go. You have 5 to go for the goal. That's really cool, right? You can show if it's due yet. I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, I think that's basically all we need. So go back to the default calendar because I need to make sure I don't have a date field that automatically added. But yeah, I think this is a really cool basic implementation already here. So we can just recap quickly what's been built and see, and then just do some cleanup. So what we've done here already is we've made it so that when we want to just select routines, we can easily see if it's due or not. And what we can do here actually, just to clean it up, our period doesn't need to be so high. We can drop it down. We can just see, again, this information. We can have now, I guess, also a admin dashboard. So we can call this one admin. What we can do is we can just hide this. We can hide this. We can keep that. We can hide this. We can hide this. Period. So basically what I want to do is everything that you can control and adjust about this, I want to show. So the group that belongs to, the period, the goal, these are all things that you should be able to adjust. So therefore I thought it would be right to show that here. We can also start sorting by group if that's something useful for you. So we can sort by group. And then we can also sort by period as a secondary as well. So sort by period as a secondary. So this is something that we can show. I think it's pretty cool. And one more, I guess, is the goal that we want to achieve. So when we go back into here, we can see that it sorts automatically by what we just showed there, right? We can see if it belongs in morning routines. We can see if it's due today, to go, and whatnot. And this is an interesting part where we can have some discussion where do we want to make multiple routine sections so we have multiple progress bars, or do we want to have like one master like habits done today and then have that all populates and see where that goes? And then a follow-up question for that is, do we also want to have a few properties left that would essentially be able to help us add some more metadata to it, right? If I have exercise, what kind of exercise? These are all things I think would be quite interesting to explore. So definitely let me know in the chat if you guys have any ideas about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to start cleaning up this database just because I think we can really start just removing these. So before I do, I'm going to take a quick screenshot so I can make sure that I can repopulate them later on in the other page. So let's do that. So I'm going to take my screenshotting tool. I'm just going to screenshot this quickly. Perfect. So I can now start deleting stuff. So let's just delete everything. So I can delete make my bed, delete morning water, delete meditate, delete exercise, just keep deleting. I think today's 5 is going to be really important, so I'll keep that later. We have this emails and plan, lunch. So I think like for the meal categories, it might be interesting to keep there if you want to keep track of your meals. Again, like it's a bit interesting. It's definitely completely up to you how you want to handle your habits. But let me just keep the breakfast in, the meals in, because I think that's something that I personally would like to keep track of in here. So I'm going to just remove everything but the meals. So let's do that. Remove this as well. Remove this. Again, here, keep the meal. Everything else deletes. I'll keep the skills practice as well. Finance tracking, I'll take out. Save money is interesting as well, so I'll probably keep that. Yeah, I'll probably keep that. Gaming, I can move to the other one. And reflection categories, I'm definitely keeping in here because I think that's something that is irreplaceable. Bedtime progress, definitely we can keep that in the other tab as well. So let's do this. And then stress level and sleep quality goes into basically at the end of this. It's not part of bedtime progress, but it's part of the overall report. I guess it's part of reflections. Awesome. So what we can do here then is we can duplicate this morning routines and just have a similar section in each of these other sections, just so that we have that for us to work on for each part of the day. And again, this is where I'd say I wish there was a way to filter, because you'll see very soon that when I make another relation, I'll still have to scroll through all the different morning routines I've already done, right? Actually, then for this example, I might actually just make this an overall progress and forget the whole morning versus like the each routine by itself. I think it's worth it because one thing I enjoy about this at least is if I've already selected it, it shows me, so I don't have to like I'll know that I've already done that, so I don't have to think too deeply about filtering them through. But if I have a new property, then I'll have to do some extra mental efforts. So I think the best solution here is just yeah, I should just make a database view, like a table view. But then, so do you have so Ben, I'm asking you, I'm curious, do you have like multiple would you have multiple relations going into habits to signify the different parts of the day, or would you still just have one master habits relation? Because I think that's something that is super cool. A board. A board for the habits or the board for the a board for the daily quest? I'm a bit confused there. Hmm. There's a lot to think about here though. So while we're deliberating that, a board and sort on type. But then it's still on the relation. Unless you're saying to be able to see it. Like for me, it's still a relation, I think. Yeah. Okay, let me see what you're talking about. You're saying make a board view and then group by type, right? So like that, I presume. And then we're going to have this as the to go, right? Remove the group. Drag and apply it using board relations. Does that really work? Wait, I'm perplexed. Does that work? I never knew that worked. I'm learning something new, guys. This is awesome. Wait, so oh, we do it the other way around. So would you have like a view that basically, yeah, you need a view. So, okay, let me see if I understand this correctly because wow, this might actually change the game. This is super cool. So normally we have this new daily reflection template, and what Ben is sharing with us is that what we can do here is we can even have a relation. So let me just make that table, create link database. We can make this into a board view, and basically we can have this group by group, right? We can hide this. We can, again, properties, we only want to see I don't think we even need done yet. We just need to show the information. So we only need group. We need to go, I think is really good. Let's do that. But what we can do here, a few awesome implementations already, is we can already filter by, right? The if to go, well, no, not to go. If done today contains, I think I have to call it not done yet. Okay, so when you call it not done yet, so filter contains not done yet. So I will also just take away these as an example because I think that's super cool. So these are all going to show. And then basically what we have to do is just, yeah, I just need to be self-referencing. I understand what you're saying. Basically all we have to do here is to have a table that, or maybe I'll just make it a list. Let's make it a list view. So habits completed today. And then what we can do here is make that a list view. And we can say, again, we don't need group, or maybe we do. Yeah, let's keep group, but we just want to show the how many times completed, which is how many to go, I guess. Actually, let's just take away the group for now because I think that's super interesting. So we can just do a filter by, add a filter where morning routines, or I guess the completed on contains the self-relational. So it's this. Later on we can make this properly, but for now, let's just do August. At August. Okay, let's just make it the new daily reflection. We will fix that later. So basically what we want to do now, so let's just take this out and let's go back into the into here. I'm not reading chat right now, but I will read it just to make sure I am on the right path. I think I am though. But basically what we want to show here is we have a board view, okay, that shows our different routines. We can, and these are the ones that we have to do. If we don't have to do them, they don't show up. And all we have to do is just drag them in here, and then it'll be done today. And that's really, really cool, actually. So what we can do is just remove this. And if we generate this template now for this guy, And what we can do here is so this filter now is on August 7th. So we just drag this down. Boom, it's done already today. And it automatically adds. That is so cool. Oh, that's really cool actually. That makes a lot of things easier. It really does. Wow. So now we can show all our habits and we can just drag them in. Now, the only thing here I'm curious then is, are we still able to show the progress for each part of the day? And I think yes. Actually, no. It'll be too tough. I know how to do it, but it's a really complicated and convoluted formula. It's not worth it for this discussion. But this is a really, really cool implementation. I would have never came out with this myself. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Really. So I guess what we want to do now then is to keep this as habits in general. Okay. This morning progress I will also remove. So we just have overall progress. And overall progress will also take into account the skills practiced, if I save money or not. I guess actually I don't even think that that's included anymore. But this is already very truncated. Like, oh my gosh, it is so much easier. Excuse me. So this is always show. Let's make this always show. So this becomes a food diary of sorts right here. What we can do now is then we can make sure everything else works. So morning multiplier, this is actually habit multiplier. So let's just call this one habit multiplier. And the habit multiplier will add with everything else. So I believe one of these has all the additional stuff, which is the skills practiced. Perfect. So I guess we can call this one the supplementary multiplier. I will have a better name, I'm sure. Yeah, but supplementary multiplier. And then what we can do is we can also have number of habits. Number of habit. Okay, let's call this one daily habit goal. So my daily habit goal might be 5. The supplementary multiplier, it could be a certain number. So this one I'm going to add all of the meals. So this one plus that. Oops. That I need to clean that one out. So let's take away all these other things. Just keep that. And then what I can do is plus this, and these ones I just need to change them to breakfast and etc. So let's make this one lunch and breakfast. So this one's lunch. And then what we can do here is this one, make it breakfast. Actually, I just take this whole thing and just find breakfast. I'm too many brackets. 2 brackets, 3 brackets at the end, and then double not empty. Here, 3 brackets at the end. Only 1 bracket. There we go. So this one will add all the ones for, yeah, so I need also skills to practice. So plus skills to practice. And yeah, so that's the supplementary ones. And then we can also add a supplementary. Okay. We'll also put that here, skills or practice. We make that a 1. And then what we can do now is just delete everything else. Awesome. This is really cool. I think there's a lot to improve here later on, but this is like a huge improvement that's already going to make the process of this so much better. So I'm really happy that we got a chance to do this. So bedtime habits we can take out, bedtime multiplier we can take out. All the badge stuff we can take out as well now. And before we do, I'll make sure I migrate them over to the other, and then I think that's where we'll stop the stream because there's a lot already that's been covered, and I'm super happy with the outcome. But basically, what we'll do later with the badges is by making sure the badges are tied to the habit table instead, we can have so much more granularity over what we can track. So for example, before we had to load up here to see like, hey, this is when we completed a reflection badge, this is when we completed blah 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 badge and everything. I think some of them will still stay there, like if we completed 70% of our habits and stuff like that. But if we want to keep track of like very specific habits that we did, we can now keep it inside the habit table as well. So that's something that I think is pretty cool. So that's something that I really like. And let's keep just finishing this. So basically what we have now is we have this habit table, right? That we can either define here, or if we open up the whole page, just to show you guys, I can now go to the bottom of this page and I can just drag the habit I want to do and drag into this table and I'm done. So that's super, super cool. So drag to the table below to hand in your habits. And that works because we have a self-relational filter. So that's something super, super cool. And what we can do here now is also make this add the eat breakfast and everything else. So let's just make sure that the formulas make sense. So we have our number of habits that we've done, which is just our daily habits goal. I don't think we have number of evening reflections. Okay, so the number of habits also includes okay, so the multiplier currently is the habit multiplier plus supplementary multiplier. And we should also just keep the reflection multiplier. So there's 3 multipliers that we're keeping track of. For number of habits, we're keeping the habit goals. And I think that's it actually. That's interesting. Oh no, number of reflections as well. Okay, so plus number of reflections. I think we're still missing one more, which is number of supplementary. Yeah, we're missing number of supplementary. So let's also here actually add a 2 number. Skills practiced here. Let's do skills practice. So this is the 2 numbers, skills practice. And what we can do here is how many skills we want to practice. So that's that. But we also need a one here that says supplementary number of supplementary habits. Just like so. And then what we can do here is, I believe it's 1, 2, 3. So we can do 3. Plus number of skills to practice, let's say. Number. Where is this number property? Number reflections, number of skills to practice. There we go. Okay, so all that put aside, basically what we're doing here is we want to make sure everything's adding up. So we can here also add number of supplementary, just what we just made. I think that's down here. And then what we have at the final level We want to make sure everything works out well. So overall progress, today's progress, great. Let's just make sure it works. So let's say we finish 5 habits, which is what we wanted. So maybe these are not all the 5 we want to do, but let's say that's that. Eat breakfast. Let's say I ate breakfast toast. Lunch maybe was ramen. Dinner maybe was sushi. Skills practiced, number of skills practiced was 0. Actually, I need to probably show that one instead. Number of skills practiced is the right formula there. Okay. No. Whoops, this is the wrong thing. Okay. Here, number of 2 plus number of skills practice. Prop number of skills practiced. I think I did something wrong here, but we'll see. Okay, I didn't need that last one. But anyway, I want the plus number of skills practice. There we go. Okay, all that put aside, this should work now. Please let me know. Please, I hope it works. So we have a daily habit goal of 5. We have 4 supplementary habits to do. That includes number of skills practice, which for now, let's just keep it 0. Let's say we don't want to practice any skills. And let's see how this works, plus number of reflections. So if we just keep doing this, 3 words, introspective, bonding, friendship. And then let's also go ahead and add what I do today. Live stream was good. Mistakes I've made, perhaps. Maybe I didn't eat my meals on time. Meaningful conversations I had. Let's say I had to chat about my mom's career. I'm a 71 already. Awesome. How intentional was I today? Things I'm grateful for. I guess this is when I can also truncate this. Things I'm grateful for. So I can put some things. Supportive community. Awesome. We can have happiness at a high. We can also talk about what I want to do tomorrow. I'm just going to put an example here because I haven't thought about that yet. An example, and now I'm at 100%. So that's super cool. This is something that works a lot. I like it already because the habits just make it so much more clear, and I'm able to just drag them down and drop them as I need to do them. So I think that's also something that is really, really nice. Joshua saying a future improvement would to make each day their own thing. You may change the number of active habits in the future. Yeah, I actually think that's really cool. So like every single day you have your own goal. I like that. But the only thing is for a newcomer to the platform, they would be very confused that they get to set their own goals every single day versus setting a goal like overarching and it carrying over to every other day as well. So that's something that I'm thinking about a lot. Okay, so for the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which is everyone's been saying how, pulling new days is something that like we usually go to this resource and it is pull new days from the master database, right? This time it's all the way to September. But what if we want to just add new dates manually? How do we do that, right? And because the cool thing that happens with this is that we don't have to make new days for like 3 months, right? Every time it comes, it just comes up. But let's say we wanted to have a different implementation. I just wanted to show you how this might work. So let me go into another view. Let's say I was in the view for my backend, and I'm going to jump into one of my dashboards. Let's say I jump into my Make Life Simple dashboard. Okay, I just want to show you what I might do now with this new build. So something that I was thinking about quite a bit, and actually I'm gonna make this smaller so it fits more on my screen. Okay, so something that I like to do now, instead of just having this show up like this, right? What I can do is I can make it so that I can add a new one really easily. So let me show you how that works. So let's say I didn't have an entry for today on the 7th. Okay, what do I do? What do I do in that situation? So let me delete the 7th entry, and essentially this will be empty. So what we can do really easily, just first up, is I can just create new. Let me just, and I guess I'll make a property stand out. I want to show the property for wake up time. So let me not show this, always show. But basically what happens is I can make a new property and I can set it so that it's for the wake up time can be automatically set. So let me do that one more time and show you how that will work. So here, the filter, instead of doing the show filter for this, which the show filter is just an implementation I did to make it easily be able to filter across multiple databases. You don't need to worry about that. That's a very advanced feature. But what I want to do is I want to add a something for wake up time. And I want to say wake up time is exactly today, is today. So basically what happens here then is if I just add a new date, it will automatically set the wake up time to today, which is the date. And I can just here say August. I can just type today here. And then that will be a relative date. Just it will change when tomorrow comes. It will show me yesterday and so on and so forth. So that you don't have to worry about that. And I can just start doing it. So it's actually super easy to add new dates, in my opinion. And you don't need to grab new dates from the master database anymore. You just need to just make a new entry. And I do like this approach a bit better too, because if you miss a day or two, you don't feel bad about it as much. Because when you miss a day or two, all you have to do is just come back, just add a new day, and your entries don't have a gap. Right now, if you had a gap, let me just show you, you'll see basically like empty days in the middle, and maybe that will demotivate you. I want to make sure that you're as motivated as possible when you're going through this journey. That's something that I think will be a cool implementation. All right, so I think that's it. Thanks guys for watching. There's a lot that we got done here. I'm really happy. Just as a recap, we were able to make a really awesome habits table that you can set a lot of things like, the group is part of, the period, you can set goals, and you have like some really intuitive formulas that will help you break down which ones you should do, which ones you don't have to do yet, which ones you've already done, which is awesome stuff. And because of that, then we're able to have things like, this page where we can just drag habits down rather to hand them in. And I think that's really, really cool. Let me just restore this. We can just drag habits down, hand them in, and we have that. So I think that's awesome. And on top of that, we can even have this only show the habits that we should be doing on a recurring basis, whether they're, every single day, every other day, or every few weeks. So definitely something that I'm really interested in. And actually, just to show you one more thing too, like many people are asking me like how I do dailies now. And to be honest, I'm doing dailies now inside the Coix3 family connection. So for those who don't know what's happening, basically we built this really cool app that connects to your Notion database. Currently it's in beta. We're opening it for our community only, but of course, if you're part of a community, it's free, just join us. You can definitely be part of this journey. But basically it pulls your information from your Notion databases as wins and then displays them as relative levels. Pretty cool stuff. But because of all the frustration I had personally with Daily Quest inside Notion, again, now it's quite binary. I'm not able to add, additional details to it. I decided that I might as well just make a component to this daily, to this make work fun app that lets us also do dailies. And by the way, yeah, you can also see really cool like graphs for this. You can see how many wins you're doing per week, per day, and how it compares to last week. You can also get some really cool celebrations. Let's see if I have one that I haven't opened yet. Let's see. Is there one I haven't opened yet? Okay, this one I haven't opened yet. So if you just click on this, it opens a random GIF and it's something funny that just makes you laugh. And you can share it with the family so everyone can be also updated on your latest wins. So I think that's pretty cool. Something we recently implemented as well that I'm actually releasing today is it breaks down your wins into different categories that you define, different areas of life that you're trying to improve. And of course, that's really important because not only do you care about what level you are, you care about where you're leveling up, right? Am I leveling up in, mindset and health and finances and whatever it might be? So that's something that's over releasing. But anyway, for dailies, what is really cool about this is you can actually have counters. So you can say, hey, if I meditated once, I meditated 2 times today, 3 times, and you can just count that up. Really cool stuff. I can add different mood counters. Like if I'm feeling a different mood at different parts of the day, I can do that. I can also edit this, by the way. Everything's editable. You can add new things, you can take away things. So yeah, this is the way I use dailies now. Not to say that I don't recommend doing dailies in Notion. I think doing reflections in Notion is definitely something I still do, and I won't ever port over to an app, at least not in the short term. But definitely, I think, if I just want to be able to do dailies, and most importantly, actually be able to have this so that I can claim rewards. I can hit like a certain amount, claim rewards, and really feel good about that. This is something that I think is the much better implementation for me. So for example, now that I hit 4 dailies, again, this is arbitrary. We can change that as we level up. I can claim rewards. I continue the site. What did I just do? Okay. Whoops, I was on my development. Yeah, so basically I can just claim that reward, and what happens is I actually get a gift, right? So I get a gift that I can see, and I can basically just be happy with that. So yeah, there's things that are going to be really, really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I hope to see you guys in the community. We have a lot of cool events coming up, so definitely stay tuned on the events calendar, and have a wonderful